Hi, fam. We decided to break Lauren's interview into two parts because she truly over-delivered and gave it all away for us. So be on the lookout for part 2 coming next week. Also, if you are loving Lauren as much as I do, you'll be happy to hear that she has decided to host an in-person retreat this coming September called the Mindset and Momentum Retreat. So this will be a full day experience designed for ambitious women who are ready to pause, reflect, reset, and then scale boldly into what's next. If you cannot tell from Lauren's story and overall energy, this woman does not do anything half-ass. She has poured so much thought and intention into every detail to make this beyond a worthwhile investment into your business and self. And also, I will be there. I have been asked to speak, so I'll be bringing the fire to the experience as well. So if you're interested, I'm going to put the link in the show notes for you, and you can use code Allie75 for $75 off of your ticket. I hope to see you there, and I will see you here for sure next week for part 2. Welcome to All In with Allie, the podcast for online business owners and entrepreneurs who are ready to create the life and business of their dreams. And speaking of creating the life and business of her dreams, I am joined today with a friend of mine and somebody who I deeply admire. She is the founder of Modern by Miles and one of the most in-demand interior designers and consultants in her home state of Alabama, and soon to be the country. I'm claiming it for you.
All right.
Lauren Miles.
Hey.
Welcome to All In with Allie.
I'm so lucky to be here.
Oh my gosh. I'm lucky to have you here. You drove all the way from Alabama.
I did.
4 hours.
About.
Nice. Nice.
A good excuse to get away.
You're not an Alabama fan though.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. Because you went to school at Duke, Auburn, and UTK. So we have that
I
in
coached
common.
at Auburn.
That's right. That's right.
Yes.
Okay.
But forever War Eagle.
Yeah. And go Vols.
Yes.
Right.
And go Duke.
Okay. Well, agree, disagree.
We're covering our conferences.
I know. I didn't pay attention. It's fine. Actually, it's funny. I wanted to start the conversation with that part of your life.
Okay.
Because obviously we're going to talk all about business, because the reason why I wanted to have you on is obviously this is All In with Allie. One of my guiding lights and, my whole thing and I guess principles that has treated me really well has been going all in. And you are the embodiment of this. Like ever since I've known you, this is, you nail this to the T. So also prior to having a business, you have this whole other life prior to being a mom and a wifey and this very established business owner. You were a competitive swimmer and a collegiate coach. So talk to us a little bit about that, because I have a feeling that the two worlds, there's a lot of similarities there, and there's something there in terms of like your drive and your maybe competitiveness, and I don't know, we'll figure it out. But talk to me about that.
Yeah. So you said it perfectly, and this is how I describe it when people ask me. Is I always say, in my previous life, I was a swim coach.
Yeah.
Because it is such a different life that I had before I met my husband and moved to small town Alabama. It's funny, like childhood trauma for me was my dad flipping on the lights at 4 o'clock in the morning 3 times a week and saying lock and load.
How old?
We were 13 till we graduated. My parents are really to credit for demonstrating, didn't anticipate getting emotional, demonstrating dedication and discipline.
You're so lucky.
Because now that I'm a parent, like, whoa.
Yeah.
3 times a week, 4 o'clock in the morning, driving us 30 minutes one way to swim so that we could be good, so that we could take good and make it great. So I don't know what it looks like to not be all in. You know, I really don't. And I think that as I've gotten older, it's been tougher for me to connect with people because I'm like, this is so obvious. Like, go for it.
Yeah.
You have nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know, so there are so many lessons that swimming taught me, coaching especially. And I think that all those lessons have been instrumental in giving me the tools that I needed to start my own business.
So 13, getting up at 4 a.m. to go swim. Did you want to swim? Was that something like, where did the swimming come from?
I love swimming deeply. I always will. I fell in love with the sport as soon as we started when I was about 9.
Wow.
We grew up in a neighborhood in a golf course where there was a swimming pool. Never played a single hole of golf in my entire life. We were at the pool. And I don't remember learning how to swim. I just remember knowing how to swim. And then I remember being in Clemson at the university, our first practice, and pretty much swim practice was part of my life for, I don't know, from the time I was 9 until I was 26.
Wow.
As a competitive swimmer. And then 10 more years as a coach.
Right. So you swam in college, and then did you know that you would go into coaching?
Yes, I knew probably late in high school that I wanted to be a swim coach. So I was swimming at Duke knowing that I wanted to coach. And when I graduated from Duke, I actually spent a year there as the assistant coach right out of the gate. Something was nagging at me and that I did not realize my potential as an athlete. I was probably the hardest worker on every team I was on. And if I didn't win that award at the end of the season, I was winning the most improved. When it came to race day, I struggled. I could not make the correlation from the hard work and literally beating everyone in practice to race day, what it took to be like great, for my hard work to pay off. I could never make that connection. I had many, many failed seasons, in my opinion, you know, failed big meets. But when I took that leap and left coaching at Duke to move to Knoxville, I had the intent of joining their graduate program for sports psychology. And that was game changing for my swimming career and my coaching career.
Okay. Why?
Well, all of my coaches up to that point had threatened to send me to a sports psychologist.
So real quick.
Okay.
When you were competing, was it anxiety?
Oh, totally.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Performance anxiety.
Got it. Okay.
Yes.
So that's why they were threatening to send
yeah.
you. Okay.
Oh, a week out, my stomach would start hurting. You know, my mom and dad would say, you know, you're just nervous. You're nervous for the meet. I didn't know that being nervous was normal and okay, right? Like being nervous is absolutely normal, right?
Yeah.
But I always viewed it and treated it as a threat. Like, because practice was practice for me. It's like, yeah, come on, bring it on. And there were times that I didn't look forward to practice, but I always knew I would step up, you know? So when I made the decision to move to Knoxville, train with a specific coach, I lived with my aunt for the first year so I could establish residency to make the graduate program a little cheaper, the in-state. And the program at the time was a 1-year program, and I took 2 years to do it because I knew I wanted to also train really hard. It was instrumental to me, the coach that I had, who ended up being probably my first real mentor, and still I very much consider him a mentor. I training with him and also seeing Dr. Craig Risberg at the University of Tennessee. He was the on-call sports psychologist for football, whatever.
Okay.
And he got me to see competing in such a different way and really helped me take my already pretty honed skills in visualization to another level. And it's interesting because it seems, when I say it out loud, what he was able to get me to do, it seems so elementary, like duh. But when he was getting me to do these exercises and I was bringing it into the training sessions, I was able to achieve my goal. And the reason I wanted to move to Knoxville was to qualify for the U.S. Olympic trials. Mm-hmm. That was it. That was my only goal. I didn't care what event. I didn't care. I wanted to be at the 2008 Olympic trials. Mm-hmm. And I felt like that was my potential. Like that was my highest potential in the sport. So what he got me to do, besides, I remember him asking me to visualize the worst that could happen. It's a week before the big meet. Lauren, I want you to visualize the worst thing that could happen next week. I was like, what?
See, you would think that's the last thing that you want to do.
Right. So these two things he had me do. Visualize the worst that could happen. Well, I wear contacts. The worst thing that could happen is my goggles come around my neck and I've got to swim a 200 IM blind, right?
That would suck.
Yeah. So I had to visualize that. I did not want to, but I did because, I'm like, well, if you visualize it, it's going to come true.
Right.
Even though all those years I'd spent visualizing. I mean, I got so good at visualizing that if you had started a stopwatch and told me to visualize me swimming my best race, the 200 IM, and if I told you to stop the watch when I was finished, I would be within 2 or 3 seconds of the goal time. That's how important visualization was in my world. But Dr. Risberg had me take it another level, take another step. And he was like, when you're in training, because that was what I was good at, right? Training. You've got to pretend like you are at the natatorium and the stands are full and you are in the race. Mm-hmm. How do you want to feel? I want to feel smooth. Mm-hmm. I want to feel fast. I want to feel strong. So I would take that to practice and I would put myself next to girls in the pool who were better than me at butterfly or backstroke or whatever. I would put myself next to them and train next to them and pretend like I was at a meet, right? Mm-hmm. And so when I got to the big meet, it was literally autopilot. I remember nothing from my best race when I qualified for Olympic trials. Ironically, it was at the Auburn pool in 2008. In 2015, that's when I was hired to coach there.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So just complete flow state.
Absolutely. And talk about recommended books.
Yeah.
Flow. And I will butcher the guy's name who wrote it. Mahaley is a phenomenal book about flow state and how to achieve flow state and be engaged. And it's funny, he wrote it before social media and all that stuff. But I was in flow state. I got out of the pool and I had no recollection of the race.
Wow. That's fascinating. And how'd you place?
I finished third or fourth, and I don't even know. I don't even remember.
You're like, I don't even know what I placed.
But look, like I swam my best time by about 2 seconds, which is a lot. When you're 26 and you're on the tail end of your career, like you're dropping 2 seconds. And I had gone my best time that morning in prelims, and I had dropped a second from my time. And that time was from when I was 15. So it was like giant, and I was 25 at the time. So 10 years, a decade of swimming the same time.
That's crazy.
Roughly, give or take half a second here. Dropping 3 seconds and qualifying for 2008 Olympic trials, yeah. And in 2008, we went to Nashville for a meet, and I added an event. I qualified in another event. So, so mindset,
everything.
Yeah, totally everything. And that shaped so much about the next chapter of my life. Mm-hmm. That experience made me a better coach before I even started really coaching.
And she's being very humble right now because she qualified for the Olympics, and then you later went on you assisted one of your athletes to the Rio Olympics, right?
Yes, I qualified for Olympic trials. So I went to the meet where the team is selected, right, based on swimming really fast.
Very fast.
And then I coached in California for about 7 years, and then got the opportunity to be the associate head women's coach at Auburn. And during that time, I was working with females and males. I worked with an athlete who represented Guatemala and qualified for the Olympics while I was working with him. And so I got to accompany him to Brazil. Amazing. And I knew when I was there that this would most likely be my only experience at the Olympics, because nagging at me was like, I'm ready to start a family. I'm ready to find my guy, Yeah. And so I treated it as such. You know, I went in, just took it all in. I mean, we got to stay in the Olympic Village. You're walking around looking at Bulgarian wrestlers and Romanian gymnasts. I mean, you're talking the shortest of the short and the biggest of the big. And they're so good at what they do.
Unbelievable.
And yeah, it's just being surrounded by that. It was, and just the spirit of the Olympics. I mean, yeah.
And in Rio too. That must have been such an incredible experience, just being in that country.
Yes.
With it all.
We broke loose. We got out of the Olympic Village after the athlete I was there with was finished. And we went to downtown Rio, again, some advice, and and had the most phenomenal hamburger, and we got tattoos together.
Oh, your Olympic tattoo.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, she's got the rings on your ankle,
Yes.
right?
And he did his in color, like right here.
That's so fun.
It was fun. It was cool. It was a good experience, and I knew it was like a once in a lifetime, and it was.
Okay, so I couldn't just glaze over that because that's a very important piece of the story. It's super interesting and admirable, but also knowing you, I sense so much of that athlete.
Yeah.
There's so much of that in you because you have this grit in you where it's like, how can I be better? How can I be faster? How can I be stronger? How can I be the best of the best? And in my opinion, spoiler alert, Lauren's business has grown stupid fast. I mean, like, for how you've been in business since 2022?
Yes.
It's really remarkable what you've done. So let's transition then.
Okay.
So you have this life as an athlete, as a coach. You eventually meet Mim. And he plays a pivotal role in your business as well. So let's talk about Mim.
Okay.
Because we love the hubbies, and then we'll get into your business. How'd you meet Mim?
Okay. We met on Bumble. Okay. Something about being in your, I guess I could say late 30s when you read a bio and it says employed non-smoker. I'm like, okay.
Wait, non-employed?
No, sorry. I messed that up. Employed non-smoker.
You're like, check.
Yeah,
check.
I was like, oh my God, this could be the guy. And he was.
Wait, that's so funny.
I know, it really.
The bar is high.
Yeah, the bar was high. Let me tell you. I think I was 34.
But every woman is like relatable.
I mean, at the time it sounded perfect, and I think mine was Pisces. Naturally, I had to throw the sign in there.
Of course.
And INFJ, which is my Myers-Briggs.
Yeah.
Which I'm sure he was like, had no clue what that was. But
right.
But yeah, he actually went to Auburn. So the only reason we met was because we both had our mileage for swiping at maxed out, at 100-mile radius. Otherwise, there's no way we would have met because Heflin and Auburn are about 75 miles apart.
Wait, so you couldn't peruse any more dudes, and it was just like, this is the last one. You made it to the finish line?
No.
Oh, okay.
The setting on the app, you can have like how far your radius.
Oh, I got it. Okay.
To be shown the options.
Got it.
And we both had ours at maxed out 100-mile radius.
I see.
Okay. So otherwise there's just no way. So, leaving California Coaching Club was so hard. That was such a magical time in my life. I was single most of the time. Mm-hmm. The kids and the parents that I got to work with out there were just phenomenal, so supportive. That really was a catalyst for me. And it's how I got the Auburn job. Mm-hmm. The job that I did out there got me the Auburn job. The job at Auburn was definitely different, but had I not taken it, I never would have met Mim. No way in a million years.
Do you think that happened to meet Mim? Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because you just think about, I think about that all the time, and now we live in small town Alabama, and his family, they're serial entrepreneurs. His grandfather started Buster Miles Ford. Mm-hmm. Buster Miles Chevy, his dad took over, and now he's in charge, and they just purchased a Kia store. Yeah. They bought some land and started the Barnett Bennett Flats wedding venue that's a stone's throw from our house where we built our house.
We're going to talk about that in a minute.
So, yeah, he first of all, he bought me the LLC for my 40th birthday.
That's, yeah. And I love that.
That was the gift.
What a gift.
Yeah.
So talk to me about that. Like, were you thinking of, where did the interior design of it all start?
Okay, so quick timeline. We met in 2016, engaged 2017, married 2018. That's when I retired from coaching and moved to Heflin. 2019, we had Margot. 2020, we started building our house. COVID during that.
Just like boom, boom, boom.
Yes, it was rapid fire. 2021, we had Mac. 2022, we moved into the new house.
I didn't realize it was.
Yes. Big things every year from basically moving to Auburn to
Are
now.
y'all okay?
We have a phenomenal marriage therapist, I will say.
I thought she was going to skip answering that and be like, anyway, so what happened next? But I love that. We've talked about marriage counseling. You actually make me want to do marriage counseling, which I should have been done that, but it's not about me.
Yeah, there was a lot. It was a lot, it was a lot because, just first of all, having a baby.
Yeah.
And you're in a new town, you're not coaching anymore. There was very little sense of self for me. And for so long, I was very sturdy in who I was. I was a great swimmer. I really loved coaching.
Yeah.
And now both of those are done. And I'm in this small town. I don't know anyone. He grew up here. He's got roots on roots on roots in Heflin, right?
Yeah.
I always knew that there was going to be something for me. I didn't know what, and I didn't know when it would happen, but I knew when I was on deck at NCAA's in 2014, 16, I saw a female coach with a stopwatch in one hand, a heat sheet in the other, and a baby strapped to her chest. And I was like, that ain't going to be me.
Oh, so really?
I knew that I was not going to be, because I knew how much I had to give to be the best coach I could be. And I also knew that it was likely not going to work for me to have babies on deck with me. And maybe I'm in the minority for other female swim coaches. Maybe I'm in the majority. I don't know. But I just knew that that wasn't how I wanted to operate. I didn't know how I wanted to operate, but I knew that wasn't it.
That's so good, though. That's a really helpful. I've learned that even if you don't know exactly what,
yes,
when you know what not, that's, hey, at least we know not to go over here. That's huge.
It just wasn't, I just couldn't see myself giving. I knew how much I had to give to coach the way I wanted to coach. And I couldn't imagine being able to give to my child and to 20, 25 athletes at the same time. Maybe I just didn't think I could do it, so I didn't want to. But I knew when I saw that, I was like, that is not going to be me. No offense to her at all, right?
Sure.
Kudos to her.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we talked about it in our premarital. Like, it was a thing that we discussed because I was coming into this marriage now not being able to financially provide or contribute. That was scary, and I know I'm not alone in that. I know other women have that same sentiment. And for 10 years, I'd been independent on my own, not having to say, hey, can I drop a couple $100 on Amazon? Right. That was a tough transition for me. So I always knew there was something else for me, but I didn't know what and I didn't know when. So we just started our family. We knew we were going to build a house. We started that process about 2 years after we got married and finished. It took about 2 years. COVID just really slowed everything down. But so during our build, I wanted to document the process. And so I got in front of the camera on Instagram. I changed my handle to Modern by Miles. I consulted some of my very closest friends and family on that. They were very supportive and helpful. And I just went with it. And I just started sharing what selections we were making. I was sharing, hey, if you do this, you could save a little money. Make sure you try this, or, here's where you can get some paint samples. I mean, it started very naively.
Yeah, but organically.
Yes. And I grew the account before I even started the LLC. It was already 4,000 or 5,000 people.
Wow.
So people were watching, people were listening, people were asking me questions. So I gained a little confidence. I'm like, oh, they like that bathroom design. They like what I did with Margot's bedroom. And I just realized, like, okay, I like this. I like helping people, right? As a coach, that's what you're doing. Ultimately, you're helping.
Yeah.
And so this was just another way for me to kind of channel that desire to help people. And it turned into Modern by Miles to what it is now. And I think I do remember telling them sometime around having Mam, I don't know, this is a lot. I'm not ready yet, and that was July 2021. March 2022 is when he handed me the paperwork. So something in him was like, she needs this, right?
Wow.
I believe in her.
Yeah.
I think she could be great at this. And I know deep down she's good at it.
That's
and so, yeah.
We love him. Well, that's incredible because I had forgotten about that. You had told me that before. And when I was doing my research, I saw that again and I was like, oh my God, that's so incredible. But I had wondered, like, hey, has this been a conversation where it's like, I got to get this LLC? And he was like, boop, got it for you. But the fact that he kind of went and did it himself, just kind of like push you out of the nest. And is that kind of what it felt
definitely.
like? Well, it's funny because Chris did the same thing for me. He didn't do the LLC part. That would have been nice. Thanks a lot, Chris. But he talked to me. He was the first one who brought up the idea of starting a business. And I was like, ew, I don't want to start a bit. Are you insane?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. And he was the one who talked me into it. So it's just so cool. Like when you have these partners that are right for you, because sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees in the same way that you said about like some of the people that you see, like it's so clear to me what you need to do. But when it's you, it's so different.
Yes.
So that's incredible that he saw this in you and was able to encourage you in this way by that gift.
Yeah. And that's what started it. Because that was when it felt really real.
Yeah.
Like, okay, it's official. Like,
yeah.
Now it's time to start figuring out some things.
Yeah. Okay. So you just naturally have what I call the designer gene. You just have good taste.
Well, I think that I studied a lot of other accounts that were building homes and just started teaching myself what to look for, how to incorporate texture in a room, for example, what colors look good together. I also, I realized pretty early on that I gravitated towards the high contrast. So like our shower, for example, is like dark blue, blackish tile with a white floor. And that was I picked some wallpaper that was high contrast. I mean, so it kind of repeated. So you figure out kind of what you like, and then you repeat it, but it's also, it was also fun building your own house and having 100% customization is a luxury, first of all. And we were very fortunate to be able to do that.
Yeah.
It was also really fun making those decisions. Now helping other people make the decisions doesn't go quite as seamlessly all the time.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But building a house there are hundreds of thousands of decisions to be made.
Yeah. I remember.
So when you get to help ease the stress for people, even just as counsel, as a guide, not necessarily always about picking out their tile, but reminding them that it's a process and this is normal and it's okay to hate everyone who's in your house right now doing all the work. And it's okay to want to tell them to get the heck out when you're so close to moving in. But it's pretty rewarding. I really felt like there wasn't going to be another career that I could choose that would be more rewarding than coaching, right? Like you're with these athletes 5-6 hours a day, pretty much year round, very few breaks. And so to see their successes at the end of the season is incredibly rewarding,
Yeah.
But helping someone build their dream home is pretty up there.
Well, it's very similar too, because
it's a process.
Helping them,
yes.
coaching them on the way, and then there is a big payoff at the
moving
end.
Day.
Yeah.
That is. There are some parallels for sure.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for the audience. Okay, so you started your business officially in 2022. It's 2025 now. Give us high level idea of what growth has looked like for you as much as you want. You don't have to talk numbers. You can talk about whatever you want so that the rest of my questions make sense.
Okay. Growth. I mean, the scope of the jobs, right? You could start with, I started helping people pick like a mirror, a light fixture here and there, a paint color. And then it turns into, I want you to design my daughter's room. And then it turns into, hey, we're remodeling and we're doing all 4 bathrooms and the kitchen and we need a new layout. Hey, we're building a house. Whoa. Okay, now I've got to do the whole house. Like we've got to pick the trim.
How soon did that type of project come up?
Pretty soon, less than a year.
Yeah.
And I had a leg to stand on. I had just finished building our house and it got some attention because we painted it black. I feel like that was, I maybe it wasn't trendy at the time.
You were early.
Every time I see a black house, I'm like, oh, it's cool,
because of you.
So cool.
Yeah.
But we both would be checking out Pinterest for inspiration when we were building our house, and we both were like immediately, yes, black house.
So Mim was about it too.
Oh
really?
Yes. Oh yes.
That's so cool.
We looked at all kinds of black black barn. Every time we came across a black house or barn of a black structure.
Yeah.
We were like, we're doing it. We're doing it. We're doing a black house. So yeah, it was, and we're not in a neighborhood or anything. We're up away from all that, but I think that was kind of bold. And I didn't care what anyone else thought. And I kind of take that approach too with helping people. It's like, do you love it? If you love it, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What anyone else thinks.
Yeah.
Which
is helpful because when you have all those decisions and it does come into play of like, what's my mother-in-law going to think? What's so-and-so? What are the neighbors going to think? But to have somebody say, no. Bring it back.
Yes.
You're going to live here.
Yes.
What do you want?
Yes.
Yeah.
Do you love it? Do you love it? How long ago did you, we'll have people who have saved images on Pinterest and we'll ask them to send us some things. And sometimes in some cases, they'll save the same picture like 3 or 4 times.
Yeah. I've done that. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you clearly, this is you.
Yeah.
Beige. Yeah, that's a winner. You're not going to get tired of the beige kitchen backsplash, probably, So, but we're able to kind of pick out some of those themes with our clients. We love looking at their Pinterest boards. It gives us a lot of inspiration. You can love Pinterest or you can hate it, but when it kind of paints the picture and it kind of shows us what the client can't verbalize themselves about what they are loving. So, yeah. But growth, back to the growth question. Yeah, it just the projects kept getting bigger. Now, they obviously can't always be bigger than the one before, but you learn also kind of what you love doing and what you don't love doing. And I think that was pretty instrumental in figuring out what I didn't like doing anymore. So stop offering it.
That's been one of my favorite things about watching you navigate business, because watching you navigate business makes me feel like you've done business before. Because I would say you have so many superpowers, but one of your superpowers is you're really good at taking aligned action in spite of fear. Like for example, the jobs that come that want to hire you, that are trying to pay you right now. And there could be no other jobs happening right now or, on the forefront. And you are so good at saying, I've surpassed that.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
I'm going this way. I'm going to continue to go this way. Where a lot of people, understandably so, would be like, well, I don't know where the next client's going to come in.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
So, you say yes a lot early in business to everyone. Every time a questionnaire comes through, every time an Instagram DM comes through, you're like, yes, yes, yes. And then you realize, no. This was not it. I don't want to do that again. So I think it's a very normal, natural thing to want to say yes for whatever reason, whether it's the money or the excitement of, oh my gosh, somebody sees something in me. They want to hire me. I want to help them. Yes, the answer is yes. I don't care what kind of a situation I'm about to walk into. Yeah. But, I really feel like your mentorship really was helpful in those times when I could see for myself what I wanted my business to be. I wasn't there yet, but these were the reasons why. It's because I was saying yes too much.
Yeah.
And you know, a big part of saying yes is overloading yourself and not having time for all the other things. And leading up to moving to Heflin, getting married to Mim and moving to Heflin, I had no balance. It was all about the coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I had no family to come home to take care of, no schedules to keep, nothing, right? Yeah. And this was the first time in my life that all of this was colliding. It's all happening at the same time. Family, kids, career, new career, trying to figure things out, trying to take care of myself, trying to take care of my kid, and have a thriving marriage first and foremost.
Right.
And it was hard.
Yeah.
And it still is hard. But you kind of learn what you don't want to do, and you just have to stop doing it.
Yeah.
And who cares if they're willing to, if it's if it doesn't align with what you're after, you have to learn how to say no. And I will also say that if you hear no, that is also okay. Because the no's will open up the next yes. And if it's a no, they didn't value you, it's not an aligned project. It's not an aligned client.
Do you remember an example of thinking or really wanting a job and getting a no, and how you navigated that? Because that's something that everybody is navigating.
Yes, there was a really nice house going up locally, and I learned from that because I fired off the proposal and the contract. Didn't do anything in person. Could have, should have, would have, had I known what I know now. And it was a lot. It was a lot. It was a big number, but it was a lot of words. It was like a 7-page fee proposal and a 10-page contract.
Wow.
I just fired it off in an email and crossed my fingers,
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Totally ghosted. Of course we were ghosted.
Yeah.
That one stung a little bit, but what I learned from that mistake, like if you really want the job, show up in person, because that's where your strength is. You can show up and you can dress how you're going to dress and come in there and you know your stuff, right? Like, and sell them on working with you for this project. They clearly need you. They reached out to you. They're midway through this build and they're stuck. So that one was a stinger.
Good lesson. Because now you show up in person every single time.
If there's a job I want, I'm in person.
You are in person.
Yes. And if it's a so-so situation, it's an email and maybe that's a tip or something. But you could also price yourself out, or you could just straight up say, and I'm practicing on this now.
Yeah.
I'm not taking new clients right now, or I don't see us as a good fit.
Yeah.
And that's hard to say.
It's really hard.
Yeah.
Well, and I think everybody's, depending on what industry you're in, everybody's business is different. But with your specific business, your jobs, each of them, I mean, even if it's a small job, is labor and time intensive because of the level of detail that you go into it with your clients. And you have a team, and it's kind of all hands on deck, at least from what I've seen. So it makes sense why you especially, and I guess this, for those listening, that's something that you want to think of. Because if you're saying, for you saying yes to the wrong job means that it's taking away literally time and energy that you could put toward the right job.
Yes.
Like current client. I'm not talking about somebody who could come, magically down the, I'm talking about people who are currently there or could.
Yes.
Because you, and, talk to kind of close the loop on the growth conversation, you are at a level now where you're booked out and you're having to be picky regarding who's going to get your time and who's going to get your expertise, which is incredible. So now, but I guess my point in saying that is this didn't happen on accident. You were being very stingy with your jobs and your yeses well before there was a line around the block waiting to work with you.
Yes. And it takes time, but the failures, the ghost you know, the ones you don't get that you really did want. The failures are the gifts.
I agree.
And if I could tell a story,
Please.
most of my stories are swimming related, but I was working with an athlete in California. When I first got there, I was coaching the 10, 11, 12-year-olds. And then 2 or 3 years in, I got the head coaching job. So a handful of those kids I coached the entire time I was out there. And we were at our big meet. I don't remember what summer it was, but it was in Irvine. And it was a pretty successful meet for us up to and heading into the last day, which was this particular athlete's, her name is Allie, her best event. It's always on the last day. It's the mile. It's the longest event there is. It's a 16, 17-minute long race. And several of her teammates had made their junior national qualifications, Olympic trials qualifications at this meet. It was her turn, right? Like she was among the hardest workers. She dives in for the mile, kind of settles in early. Eventually she gets on the pace that she needs to be on to make this cut, falls a couple seconds short of making the cut. 10-year-old Allie would have hopped out, thrown her cap and goggles down on the floor and walked away from me. 16-year-old Allie sat on the side of the pool, slumped over. If she wasn't crying when I approached her, she was about to be. And I said, "You're going to get this cut in 2 weeks at Junior Olympics at our pool in front of your home crowd." And she did.
No.
And her first 300 was too slow at this meet. She dove in. She was reserved. You know, she followed the race plan to a T. The first 300 was just a little soft, you know. She didn't dive in like, I'm getting this cut today. Yeah. You know, she dove in and kind of warmed up into it, built into the first 300, and then unleashed. A little too late. So we get to our home pool 2 weeks later. Her mom and dad are there. Her brothers are there. The whole shebang, right? Like the whole team. It's at the pool where we practice every summer. And she dives in and literally starts sprinting. And I'm like, oh boy. What's going to happen here? So the second half, she's swimming a 1500. We're walking a 1500. Okay. We were walking up and down that pool deck with her, cheering her on. And it started to unravel a little bit with a 300 left. And we really had to get her going. You know, we're jumping up and down, clapping, telling her to kick, and she's breathing to our side on the odds, and she's breathing to the other side on the evens. Before the end of the race, all the other coaches from other teams and other kids were realizing what was on the line, and they were cheering for her. She touched the wall. She barely makes the cut, and we just all go crazy and give her a big hug. But had she not had the failure, she never would have had that opportunity to achieve what she did at our home pool like that, to demonstrate like the hard work was worth it, you know? So in that respect, failure is absolutely a gift. Yeah. Because that was a gift that day that we got. Had she made that cut in Irvine 2 weeks prior, she wouldn't have learned much, right? Yeah. She learned so much about herself that day when she made it 2 weeks later.
She wanted it.
Yes. And she dove in and she went after it and she got it.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Let's freaking go.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's my favorite race. The mile is my favorite race. It was my favorite race to coach. Some of my favorite athletes, that was their best event. Yeah. Because it requires just some tenacity, you cannot not work hard and be excellent at the mile, you know? I want to surround myself with hard workers.
I can't swim a yard, so there's that. Well, okay. Speaking of working with hard workers, let's talk about how you've gone even more so all in on your business, because we decided to break Lauren's interview into 2 parts because she truly over-delivered and gave it all away for us. So I will see you here for sure next week for part 2.